Welcome back to NT Coins World, the channel where history shines through copper and zinc. Today, we're diving deep into the legacy and value of two Lincoln cents that might just be hiding in your pocket change or coin jar. These coins may seem ordinary at first glance, but behind their coppery surface lies a story of minting oddities, collector demand, and hidden treasure that could be worth thousands. First up, let's turn our attention to the 1970 D Lincoln cent in fine condition, a coin with more going on than meets the eye. The 1970 D Lincoln cent might not immediately raise eyebrows. After all, Denver struck hundreds of millions of them, but within this massive mintage, and over 2.8 billion coins to be exact, lies one of the most elusive and fascinating varieties in the entire Lincoln cent series, the small date 1970 D cent. At first glance, a 1970 D penny in fine condition may just seem like another circulated coin with mild wear on Lincoln's cheekbone and the hair detail above his ear beginning to fade, but the real value lies not in condition alone, it's in the variety. Now here's where things get interesting. The small date versus large date varieties are the key to unlocking value in this year. The 1970S had more notoriety because of its proof version, but don't overlook the Denver Mint. Though officially unconfirmed as a separate intentional variety, the 1970 D small date was produced during a die transition and may appear with a weaker strike and a more squat number 7 in the date. A diagnostic feature that helps determine whether you're looking at a rare variant. In fine condition, this detail might be slightly worn, but still visible enough for a sharp-eyed collector to identify. While typical 1970 D cents in fine condition sell for face value or maybe a few cents in bulk, a confirmed small date 1970 D cent, especially those with certain double die reverse features, can fetch a significant premium. In higher grades, these rare variants have been known to hit the $3,000 to $5,000 range. Some PCGS certified specimens in Mint State 65 Red have crossed the auction block for over $6,000 depending on eye appeal, die markers, and collector demand. The problem? Many collectors don't realize they're holding one. That's the hidden thrill. You could be walking around with a penny that's worth more than a Rolex. Errors are another realm where the 1970 D can shine. There are known examples of off-center strikes, die clashes, and double strikes for this year. While not specific to the small date variety, such errors enhance desirability and add layers of value for error collectors. Even in fine condition, if your 1970 D shows a clear off-center strike or retained cud, you could be looking at a coin worth $50 to $100 or more, depending on severity and market timing. Historically, the early 70s were a turning point for the US Mint, grappling with rising copper prices and looming alloy changes that would eventually arrive in 1982. The sheer scale of production in Denver meant less attention was paid to subtle die variations, for transitional varieties and errors to sneak into circulation. Gold mines for collectors today. The 1970 D Lincoln cent represents that fascinating crossroads of industrial minting scale and human imperfection. It's a snapshot of an era when even the most tightly controlled processes could let a valuable mistake slip through the cracks. So, if you come across a 1970 D penny with worn features but a curious compact date style or signs of doubling on the reverse, especially around the letters 1 cent or United States of America, don't toss it aside. It might be a relic with real value. You never know when a coin that's been sitting in a coffee can for decades could turn out to be a $3,000 surprise. And speaking of surprises, let's move on to our second Lincoln cent of the day. One that's famous for a mistake that turned into a legend. The 1972 Lincoln cent struck at the Philadelphia Mint is a coin every collector dreams of finding, especially if it's one of the ultra-valuable double die obverse varieties. In fine condition, it might look like a well-circulated cent with wear across Lincoln's cheek and jawline, and maybe a bit of flattening in the wheat stalks on the reverse if you're holding a roll of mixed-date coins. But the 1972 Lincoln cent has a twist that sets it apart from most pennies in your change. Let's talk about that legendary double die obverse, known as FS101 in the numismatic world. This is not your average minor doubling. This is dramatic, unmistakable doubling that you can see with the naked eye. The inscriptions "Liberty," "In God We Trust," and the date 1972 all exhibit a bold, offset doubling that jumps out even on a coin that's seen better days. And the value? If you're lucky enough to find one in even moderately circulated condition, it could sell for $200 to $500, but in higher, uncirculated grades, these coins have sold for up to $14,000, and in top grades like MS66 Red, they can skyrocket up to $50,000 to $70,000 at auction. Here's what makes it even more thrilling. The 1972 double die obverse is far more common than its older cousin from 1955. While only about 24,000 of the 1955 double dies were released, estimates for the 1972 FS 101 hover around 250,000 to 500,000, but meaning there's a greater chance it's still floating in circulation, hiding in old penny jars, or resting unnoticed in collections where it's mistaken for a regular cent. But not all 1972 cents are created equal. There are several less dramatic double die varieties for this year, including DDO's number 2 through number 10, which can also carry premium values ranging from $10 to $200 depending on grade and visibility. From a historical standpoint, the 1972 cent sits at a unique point in the Lincoln series. The US was preparing for its bicentennial, inflation was rising, and the mint was pushing coin production to meet demand. Over 2.9 billion cents were struck at the Philadelphia Mint alone in 1972, an astronomical number. But even within that, one faulty die passed through quality control and struck a few 100,000 coins with that bold doubled image that would later become one of the most sought-after modern coin errors. Fine condition coins, of course, won't fetch the tens of thousands you see in auctions, but they're still highly collectible. If the doubling is visible and the coin's wear doesn't obscure key diagnostic features, it could still command triple-digit value. Collectors often seek these examples as budget finds or transitional pieces for a full-grade collection. Let's not forget about error coins here either. The 1972 Lincoln cent has its fair share of misstrikes, from clipped planchets to BIE die breaks in Liberty, which are especially beloved by niche error collectors. Even in circulated condition, a major off-center or broad strike error could be worth $50 to $150 and sometimes even more if the date is fully visible. So what does all this mean for you, the everyday collector or hobbyist? It means that the next time you sort through a pile of pennies and find a 1972, don't dismiss it because of wear. Take a closer look, tilt it under a light, grab a magnifier, and inspect those letters. The doubling is bold enough to catch even a beginner's eye, and the reward could be life-changing. Whether it's a solid $100 flip or a multi-thousand-dollar jackpot, the 1972 Lincoln cent is the kind of find that fuels the dreams of coin hunters everywhere. And that brings us full circle. From the mysterious small date of 1970D to the iconic double die of 1972, these two Lincoln cents remind us that even the most humble coins can carry incredible stories and value. Keep looking, keep learning, and always check your change. If you found today's video helpful or learned something new, don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and ring the notification bell so you never miss another chance to discover a coin worth far more than its face value. Drop a comment below if you've ever found a valuable Lincoln cent, or if you're going hunting for one now. Until next time, this is NT Coins World, where every coin has a story, and some of them are worth a whole lot more than a penny.